Sparka.com/marketing.php. Sparka.com/marketing.php. How to market your iPhone app, Android app, or social network, or for that matter, any website where you have to build a user base to be successful. This is going to be, by my count, factoid number 47. This is the biggest mistake that any web developer, any mobile app developer makes when they're trying to build your user base. And I get this question very often: what am I doing wrong? I've spent $10, $20, $30,000 to market my app, market my mobile app, market my social media network. Why do I only have 10 users? And then I'll hear a justification from a lot of people that contact us saying, well, I've heard that content is king, right? Content is king, so I've put all the best content in there already. I've pre-populated with facts, figures, opinions, fun stories, videos, audio clips, anything you can think of. Anything that's important, anything that anyone would want, I've filled my website with content. Why do I only have 10 registered users? And which, by the way, as an aside, any successful website has about, well, let me ask you, do you know what the cost per user acquisition is? So basically, let's say you want 10,000 users. How much does it cost to acquire 10,000 users? On average, if the website's successful and profitable, it's going to cost about $10 to $12 per user. So to get 10,000 users on your website, you're going to have spent about $100,000 is the average. Can you do it for less? Yes, absolutely you can do it for less. Have most of the big websites like Twitter, Facebook done it for less? Not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. It cost about $10. Can you do it for less in the beginning? Yes. So let's talk about how to do that in this particular video, while we address why it is that even though you've got the best content in your website, no one else is joining, no one's registering. Real simple fact, real simple reason: you don't have the best content. You just don't. So this isn't a trick question. Do you know, as a developer, as the owner of a mobile app or social network, do you know what the most important content is that you can have in your website? Think about it for a second. You might think, well, that's a ridiculous question. That totally depends on the industry. Whether it's a social network for plumbers or whether it's a social network for mathematicians, the content is totally different. It's not. If you think the content is totally different, that's where you're making your biggest mistake, and that's why you don't have more than 10, more than 50 registered users. That's why it's so difficult for you to get registered users. I'll tell you what it is. The most important, valuable content you can have in any website is exactly the same ingredient. It's exactly the same content that you can have in any restaurant, in any club, any cafe. The most important content you can have in your social network or your mobile app is the user. The user. Any data, any video, any facts, any entertaining blog post, any write-ups, anything is simply supplemental to give the user something to do. In other words, people don't come for information, people come for people. Same thing with restaurants. You think people go to a restaurant to eat? No. People go to restaurants because of who else goes to that restaurant, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's pretty girls, whether it's... I'll tell you a funny story about MySpace, how MySpace grew. In the beginning, MySpace didn't have any users. You know what they did? They hired dozens of pretty girls in the LA area, no kidding. This is a true story, behind the scenes story of how MySpace grew. Dozens of pretty girls, and told them, hey, we're gonna pay you on a regular basis. I think it was weekly. They paid them in cash and said, from now on, if you're gonna keep getting money from MySpace, you are not allowed to use email. Back then it was Hotmail. You were not allowed to use Hotmail to contact anybody. You have to use MySpace. And Here's these business cards that you can hand out to guys that are interested in contacting you. These business cards have your MySpace address on it. Make them contact you via MySpace. You know how many new registered users MySpace got? It wasn't the content that you're thinking. The content is the user itself. Twitter, for example. In the beginning, Biz and Ev, they're from Google. They have access to Y Combinator, Sequoia. They have access to every angel fund there is in the world. Why didn't Twitter take off in the beginning? Well, no content, right? So they thought, well, what do? Let's spend some money. Let's tell the media that we have a way for you to communicate, just like text messaging where you can block people. Text messages are difficult because you can't really block people unless you call Verizon or Sprint or AT&T or T-Mobile and ask them to block a certain phone number. And then all someone has to do is use an IP phone, change their phone number, and bam, they're sending you text messages all over again. It's too much of a hassle, so here we've created Twitter. It's going to work great. Nobody used it. Funny thing is, though, what they did, they spent so much money on marketing and publicity, and all the media people decided, well, let's at least register, join on, and see what this thing is about, see how it works so we can write it up, do write-ups about it, talk about it. And then they said, this is dumb. There's nobody here. Except us. We know each other. We already have everyone's cell phone numbers. It's just us media people hanging out. That's when the magic happened. That's when the content happened. CEOs and marketing directors and company owners decided, wait a second. It's super, super hard to reach these influential media people, these columnists, these journalists, these reporters. And all of a sudden, I come to this website called Twitter, and here they are. All of a sudden, everybody that I need to reach, send my press release to, is in one website. Wow, coincidentally. So, let's join. That's how Twitter got big. You know how Facebook got big? Girls. Again, the prettiest girls in Harvard, all three of them. The most valuable content you can have in your website or mobile app is the user itself. What I'm telling you is that if you want people to join your website, if you want people to download your app, you've got to get power users. There are only two types of users on this planet. There are non-replicative and then there are replicative users. If you get non-replicative users, you can spend $10,000 at $10 a pop. You're going to end up with 100 registered users. 100 registered users, if they're non-replicative, they can share. They can talk about how wonderful this app is all day long, and nobody will take their word for it. Nobody will join, nobody will download your app to talk to them because nobody wants to talk to them. All you have to do is spend that same $10,000 and give it to one power blogger that's super popular. It helps if it's a she, and it helps if she's really pretty. Get her to join, download, register, use, and all of a sudden she'll bring all her fans. She'll make all her fans download your app. It's an oversimplification, but that's how it works. That's how the biggest websites get started. That's how Path got started. That's how Quora got started. Look behind, you may not even know, but look behind who the first few people are who joined Quora, who joined Path, who joined Instagram. And then you'll see what we're talking about. For help getting big shots to use, advocate, download, and register to your social network and mobile app, contact us at SparkUp. We know all of them. We can contact all of them. We have most of their cell phone numbers in this iPhone that I'm recording with. You can contact us at sparka.com/marketing.php. sparka.com/marketing.php. Looking forward to helping you get a large user base to your new project.